Oh, is it time?
I'd like to call to order this meeting of the Forest Grove City Urban Renewal Agency. Will the city recorder please call roll?
Director Gustafson?
Here.
Director Rippey?
Here.
Director Martinez?
Here.
Director Marshall?
Here.
Director Valenzuela?
Here.
Director Ewing?
Absent.
Mayor Wenzel?
Here. Thank you. Is there any public comment? Time provided for anyone wishing to speak to the URA board on an item not on the agenda or on the agenda but not scheduled for a public hearing. Comments are limited to 2 minutes unless additional time is granted by the presiding officer. The public comment period shall not exceed 30 minutes unless a majority of directors present vote to extend the time. Zoom attendees may use the raise hand option to be called on. Is there anyone who would like to give public comment? Seeing none online, seeing none in the audience. Okay, City Manager, are there any additions or deletions?
No additions or deletions. Thank you, Mayor.
Thanks, and there's no presentation. So we're going to move on to item F, which is public hearings and resolution. And I'm going to turn it over to our Assistant City Manager and Finance Director, Paul Downey, and our Community Development Director, Brian Pohl.
Good evening, board members. We're proposing a fourth amendment to the Urban Renewal Plan to add more properties for potential acquisition. The Urban Renewal was adopted in 2014, and when it was adopted, we added a list of properties that the URA board may want to consider purchasing. Since that time, some of the properties have been developed, and so they're no longer considered blighted, and also some other properties have come to our attention as being blighted and then potentially in need of redevelopment. We like to maintain options for the URA board for property acquisition to eliminate the blight and maximize the assessed value in the Urban Renewal Agency. So we've identified potential properties. We're proposing adding 8 properties to the list for potential acquisition. Adding these properties does not mean the URA is going to be actively pursuing the properties for purchase. It just means we have them on the list for potential acquisition at some time in the future. And as always, properties has to be a willing seller. The URA cannot condemn property. And so adding these properties would have no fiscal impact. If we buy them, it'll take some property values off the rolls while they're being redeveloped. And so the plan amendment itself contains a list of the properties that we're talking about adding. And then there's also a map attached as attachment A, the property. I'm going to assume everybody's had a chance to look at the list of properties or look at the map. And so Brian and I will take any questions you may have.
Thank you, Paul. Any questions for staff? Council President Rippey.
Well, thank you. So I just wanted to make sure that the Woodfull property is already on the existing list.
Yes, the Woodfull. Yes, that's already on the existing list.
Okay. And the only other thing I'd like to point out is that the map on exhibit, the attachment A to exhibit A, for one, the location of the U.S. Bank is incorrect.
Yeah, it's a little off there.
Yeah, it's kind of 2 blocks off.
Yeah, we probably shouldn't self-rise.
So just the map should correspond with the actual.
Yeah, we'll get the
Okay.
community development to correct that before we
That's all I had.
put
Thank
the
you.
exhibit in.
Any other questions for staff? Seeing none, what is the wish of the board?
I move that we approve URA Resolution 2024-04.
Second.
Thank you. URA Resolution 2024-04 has been moved by Council President Rippey and seconded by Councilor Gustafson. Will the city manager read it by title only?
URA Resolution 2024-04, approving the Fourth Amendment to the Forest Grove Urban Renewal Plan to add several properties to the redevelopment opportunity sites contained in the Urban Renewal Plan.
Thanks. And I'll open it up for council discussion. Any discussion? I mean, I think it's a great idea to add more property. It gives the city more flexibility and to use the urban renewal dollars. So I don't see any other Okay, will the city recorder please call roll for the vote?
Director Gustafson,
Yes.
Director Rippey,
Yes.
Director Martinez,
Yes.
Director Marshall, Director Valenzuela,
Yes.
Chair Wenzel.
Yes. In a vote of 6-0, the Urban Renewal Agency Board approves Resolution 2024-04. Thank you, and I'm going to adjourn this meeting.